All real estate transactions require, quote, a buyer to do due diligence. So what is due diligence? Well, Webster says due diligence is reasonable steps taken by a person in order to satisfy a legal requirement, especially in buying or selling something. In layman's terms, it means when a buyer is considering purchasing a property, the burden is on them to know what they're getting themselves into. It's doing reasonable research to determine the advantages and disadvantages of the property before purchasing it. Due diligence can start practically the moment a potential buyer discovers a home exists and ends the moment that transaction is closed. When there is an accepted offer on the property, there's a few time windows that are contractual, and then the residential sale agreement in Oregon are called contingencies. The first is the seller's disclosure contingency, where a buyer can review the seller's disclosure. More about that in a separate video. The second is called the property inspection contingency, where a buyer will have longer and deeper access to the property to bring in professionals to consult on the condition and offer professional value and advice. Third is the title search to determine the legal state of the property. More about that in a separate video. In each of these, a buyer can decide if they want to make any negotiations or walk away from the deal entirely based upon newfound information. And they're called contingencies because a buyer can usually terminate the deal in these timeframes and get 100% of their money back. There are many horror stories of clients not doing sufficient due diligence, like buying a property in hopes of turning it into a vacation rental, only to find out that the local regulations would make it illegal, inconvenient, or cost prohibitive. What I tell my clients is I can help facilitate their due diligence and educate them, but at the end of the day, it's your responsibility.